Hello and welcome to week 4 with Ants for Healing. I'm Sue Rigby and with me is Nicki as we talk about Nicki's experiences with fibromyalgia. Nicki, do you want to share what you've been experiencing since last week?
Yeah, so first week back at work, so I've had 2 weeks annual leave, so first week back, and I feel like I've been hit with a bulldozer. So again, pains all come back, shoulders, neck, but I am sitting at a computer all day. Like I mentioned just before the call, I ended up having my husband had to come and rescue me from work because I ended up with this full body tremor, which I've only actually ever experienced to that extent after I've given birth. So that's how long ago it was, long time ago. But my whole body went, it was shaking violently, and then I lost my speech. It's like I sounded like I had a horrendous stutter because I just couldn't. It was like I was trying to talk and it just wouldn't come out at all. So that was quite scary. And then I had like a smaller episode this morning because I was rushing to get into work for a meeting, which was a bit odd. But since I've come home, I've been okay, like absolutely fine. Pain and everything's still there, but I've not had any more of the like shakiness and whatever that is that's happening. But yeah, and tiredness this week is just, as you can imagine, like we've had all the storms, the heat, the mugginess. I mean, we can deal with the heat so long as we don't have the mugginess with it. Yeah, so tiredness has been like, the fatigue is hard going, but again, it's trying to get back into the swing of things and having all of that as well. So week one's always worse.
Oh, after our last session, did the improvements that you'd felt after it continue for a few more days?
Yeah, I actually managed to go to Lake Vyrnwy and I went for a walk, and I managed to go for, I mean, it's not, I don't know if you know Lake Vyrnwy at all, there's some waterfalls at the top end that you walk up the sheep track. So I actually managed to walk there and back to the car, and I only had to stop twice, which was great because, I mean, obviously it's uphill and things like that. So that was fantastic. And I felt like the day after, normally I was almost gearing myself up to have a bad day, and I was okay. I was a bit stiff in the morning, but it passed. Like, it was just like a normal morning. It wasn't any worse. So that was really good. Because I've not been quite so scared to go out now, if that makes sense, because it's like sometimes I know I have to rest a couple of days before I know I'm going to go out and do something, and then I'll have to rest a couple of days after, which is really rubbish when you have children and a dog. And yeah, so that was really good. That was really good. I felt like almost like the healing process afterwards was much quicker, much quicker.
Brilliant. When did you have the full body tremor then at work? How long ago?
So it was last night, and it was almost, I know it sounds really silly, it was almost bang on 4:30. And the only reason I know is because I was due to go home, because I work in a call centre, I was due to go home at 4:37. So I'd happened to look at my clock because I was looking for the handover, and then all of a sudden I went up to go and help someone, and I could feel my legs going really like wobbly, like really wobbly. So I went, I'm just going to go and sit down, and I'm just going to see if this passes. And then it ended up, and I was sat there, and like my hands were like this and my legs were going, no pain or anything, I just couldn't control my body at all.
Right.
So, and I think it scared other people more than it did me, because I'm used to my body kind of not doing what I think it's going to do. So I know how to deal with that.
Yes.
But it really scared the people around me. So yeah, I've contacted them today, and I was like, look, I'm fine, don't worry about it. So but yeah, it's scary in the sense of I don't know when it's going to happen. It literally comes on like that. There's no warning, which is the kind of scariest bit about it. But and then once you're going through it, it's okay, because you know it will pass at some point. So yeah, that wasn't very nice. And then afterwards, so all last night, like my hands seized, and so they were almost seized in like that position, and both my elbows locked. My knees felt, the only way I could describe it was almost like, obviously you've got your ball joint, so you've got there's your joint, there's your, it felt as though this was too big and my joint was like rattling around inside it.
Right.
Really, really bizarre. But then this morning when I woke up, again, a little bit stiff, but nothing major. Like most of the aches and pains had gone. But then when I had to, because I had to rush to get into work, I got there and then this whole kind of body thing started again and my speech went. But then by sort of 12 o'clock, it all gone again. It was just, it's been really odd couple of days.
Wow. It's quite interesting, really, because this session is now 9 days after the previous one. So we've gone a little longer between sessions here. And you've had a week back at work, which is obviously a big change. So we'll see what this session brings then, shall we?
Yes.
Let's look at the scores from last week and your scores now. If we look at your hips, what are the scores now?
I'll say a 7, but the right one more so, as in there is significant pain in the right one. The left one's not too bad, but it's sore a lot.
Okay. Your lower back?
Again, probably about a 7.
Shoulders?
7.
7.
I am really sore at the moment.
It's like Strictly Come Dancing, isn't it? 7. Hands?
Hands are okay, actually. After last night, bizarrely, they're probably about, say, a 4.
Okay. Your wrists?
Wrists are fine, actually, today. So we'll go with 0 for them.
Okay. Your feet?
1 bit of stiffness, but not really pain.
Okay. And your ankles?
Same, about a 1.
All right. Fatigue has been a big problem for you, you said this week. What would you say your score's been on the fatigue?
Probably between a 6 and 7. It's not the worst I've ever felt, but yeah, it's there.
Okay. How have you been sleeping?
Okay. So the past couple of the beginning of the week was awful. So I had a couple of bad nights, but then again, it could be to the weather because again, like I said, it's muggy. There was no particular reason that I felt I woke up. There was no kind of pain and things. The last 2 or 3 nights, I've slept like a log, as in I've like woken up and not realised I've fallen asleep sort of thing, and it's morning. But still quite tired. It's taking me still quite a long time in the morning to kind of wake up and get my body going.
Okay. How about your concentration? How's that been? Because you've had to concentrate a bit more with being back at work.
Yeah, not great, because I've had to, and I've noticed with the concentration and the speech kind of almost hand in hand have not been great. So again, I've been saying the wrong words for things, even though I know in my head what the word is, but it's a similar thing, but it's almost like the wrong words coming out. Right. Yeah, it's been difficult, and I've been having to think really hard on what to say, and there's been almost like a lot of gaps in my sentences and things like that of when I'm speaking to people. So
okay. How's your head been?
Head not too bad. Had a really, really bad headache over the last weekend, but that's gone. It was fine after the last session. It was literally like Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday, but then since then it's been okay.
Okay. IBS?
Really bad still, like really, really bad. It's but that does get affected with the heat. So again, that's hitting. It's it went okay, and then it went really bad again. It's almost like it fooled me thinking that I was on the up again, and then it just
yeah. Well, the heat has been really bad for the past few days, and the mugginess and everything. It's
and it's odd because a few years ago I went to Marrakesh and it was like 45 degrees. It was ridiculous, but it was a hot heat. It was hot. there was no mugginess. In that heat, I felt so much better. In this mugginess, I feel like it's winter again, even though it's warm.
Yeah.
Which, because with the fibro, heat does help, but I don't know if it's almost like the moisture in the air. I don't know what it is, but when it's muggy, I feel almost like I'm wading through cotton wool, I suppose, and like everything is just foggy.
Yeah. Now, for anybody that's listening from another country, we've had really quite high temperatures, very high humidity, lots of thunderstorms for days. Really, really uncomfortable. How's your grip been?
Not great, actually. So last night, I lost it completely last night. Like I said, my hands were locked, so I couldn't really do anything. But even at work and things, I've been finding, because I'm on a computer, so I'm having to type a lot, I'm having to take rests because I just can't. It's almost like you get, when you're just about to go into a muscle cramp and you can almost feel them tightening, but it gets to that point but doesn't quite go into a spasm.
Yeah.
So I know when I start feeling that, I need to kind of take a step back and just give myself a break.
Yeah, well, self-awareness is really a good way of helping yourself, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yes. How's your vision been?
Again, not great, but I've been wearing my glasses more again. So when I normally, because I'm talking to you, I wouldn't wear them, but normally when I'm working, I will wear my glasses. So as soon as I take them off, it takes my vision almost like that evening to reset. And then I put them on again in the morning, and then we're back to square one. So it's not great at the moment.
And
it's almost that dryness, and yeah.
And when you've been on annual leave, have you done much close work? Have you used your computer much, or done a lot of reading where you would need your glasses?
No, I tried to stay away from it, to be honest, because I'm on it such a lot. I literally spent the 2 weeks to rest, especially with, because I've worked pretty much all the way through COVID and things, and that was my only block of time that I've had off since March. So it was needed for me to take that time, because with fibro, I think you get this guilt and the horrendous guilt, especially when you're younger, I think, as well, because like I'm only 35. I have mum guilt anyway, as you do whenever you have children, but having the fact that your body does not do what you want it to do, and only being in your mid-30s is horrible. And I think sometimes we can push ourselves too much, and it's learning to say it's okay to take a break. And if you've got, I'm very, very lucky. I've got so many people around me that understand, and they've taken the time to research what it's like. And even my children will come. It's like one of my daughters has helped me like sort my hair out today because I couldn't do it, and things like that. And it's making sure that it's knowing that it's okay to actually take that time for you, and that actually it's better for you, because you will have that time to rest, and your body needs it. If you're going into a flare, you need to rest and give yourself time. So.
And how often have you had flare-ups of it in the past? Have they been at regular intervals, or?
Not really. So when I originally when I say I got it, it started off that I'd had a really, really, really bad virus, similar to salmonella poisoning, and that's what triggered it, or that's what the doctors have said have triggered whatever this, thing is in my brain. And I was almost in a constant flare for about 18 months. I was just and I went from, I'm a judo player, and I took, loved walking, things like that. So I went from that to pretty much doing anything was just almost impossible, because I was just in agony. So that was about the first 18 months. It took me kind of on and off about 3 years to actually get a diagnosis, because they have to pretty much test you for everything, rule everything else out, and then they go, oh, it must be fibromyalgia. That's the diagnosis. That's the way it happens, which is incredibly frustrating. But then it's like sometimes I can have a flare up that will last 24 hours, and I will feel horrendous, almost like I've got flu. I can't get out of bed. I can't even take myself to the toilet, things like that. And that can last 24 hours. Or I can go on and I can have it for 3 months. There are no set patterns. There are no, and each flare can be different as well, because there are so many different symptoms, and it's really difficult to know when something, like I said to you about my headache, and I said, but I know I suffer with those when it's like this anyway, whether it's fibro or whether that's just normal for me, because normal for me is now not normal, and I never know which is which, and it's really hard. It is really hard. But like I said, it's you just need to make sure you have the right kind of people around you, get the right support, and actually just know you need to learn to listen. I know it sounds really silly, but you do need to learn to listen to your body, because that's what it's telling you to do.
Yeah, it's talking to you, it's giving you a message, isn't it?
Exactly. And you do need to listen to it, because otherwise you are going to make yourself worse.
Yes. Okay. If I look back over the few weeks that we've been doing this, when we started this, your hips were 5s, 6s, it's gone up this week. Your back and your shoulders were always high, and they've a little bit of a trend down. Your hands and your wrists seem to have come down, and your feet. So they're improving a bit. Your fatigue has improved until you've gone back to work.
That was expected, though.
Yeah. Your sleep seems to be a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah. How about your anxiety? We didn't mention that this time.
No. Now, funnily enough, so the first session that I had with you, I remember saying to you that my heart, I genuinely thought it was going to come out of my chest. It was like constantly, and I had nothing that I was aware of that I was anxious about. It just was. It was almost like, when you just drink too much coffee or something.
Yes.
But it had been like that for about a week, to the point of I think I was making it worse, because I then started worrying about it. I've not had that since we've started at all.
Good. So there have been some improvements and some things that we still need to work on. And as always, it's a suck it and see.
Exactly. But it's one of those, we expected, we weren't quite sure how it was going to go when we started anyway. So it's all a learning curve.
Okay. Right. It's time for your half hour now.
Okay.
If you want to go and make yourself comfortable, set your alarm and we'll meet back.
That's it. Yeah.
Half an hour. Okay. Thank you for now. Right. Here we are again. Nicki's back after her half hour session. How was it this time, Nicki?
I fell asleep again towards the end. So I had a lot of lights in front of my eyes this time, like, when your eyes are closed, kind of moving. And I felt no, just white.
Right.
I felt myself being able to almost like relax into it much more and much quicker this time. And again, I woke up when the alarm went off, didn't realise I'd gone to sleep. So
okay. Okay, shall we look at your scores then, how things are after that?
Yep.
Your hips, how are they?
Oh, that's much better, actually. We'll go with a 5.
Okay, what about the right hip? Because that was...
Yeah, we'll go with a 6 for that one. Sort of, between a 5 and a 6 for the 2.
Okay. Your lower back?
Lower back feels a bit better now, actually. We'll go with, say, a 4.
Okay. Your shoulders?
Again, they're a bit stiff, but the pain's not like it was, so probably a 5.
Okay. Your hands?
About the same, just 1.
Okay. Wrists?
Fine still.
Okay. Your feet?
Fine. We'll go with the 0. Can't feel anything in them now.
Okay. And your ankles?
Yep, still a 0.
Excellent. The others, again, are things that we look at over the week. So it's like fatigue, your headaches, your memory, your grip. Those are things that you'll review over the week. So that's this week. So some improvement during the session, and we'll see how long it lasts and whether the period of time it lasts starts to increase.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I will say thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's very wonderful of you to share these experiences with everyone. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing everybody next time.